similar. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with what's called a food chain. And you have your little wheels that you made, and I have one here that I made as well. And what those pictures show is animals that follow, a way to follow the flow of energy from the sun all the way through plants, and then through animals that eat plants, and then animals that eat other animals. So we're going to start out at the very beginning with the sun shining on plants, and animals that eat those plants directly, like this little worm who's eating that leaf. So does anybody know the word for an animal that just eats plants? Has anybody ever heard a word for that? Oh, nice job. So herbivores. And here on my computer screen is a picture of a big cow's nose, because we know that cows eat grass. But there's lots of animals out there that only rely on plants for their food. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the adaptations that an animal has if it only eats plants. Now that's different from people, because we can eat both plants and animals. And here at this museum, Mark and I, the guy who's got this animal ambassador on my desk over here, our job is to look at the way that humans fit into the grand scheme of things on the planet as well. So we'll take a look at how we are similar, or maybe not similar, to some of these animals today. So Mark, you've got an animal here on the desk, and what is that little guy? Let's see here. Can you guys see what it is? It's a rabbit. Nice. So Mark, could you tell us what kind of rabbit that is, and maybe some of the ways that that rabbit is built for eating just plants?
Okay, this is an eastern cottontail rabbit, common rabbit in this part of the country. He is an herbivore. Herbivores tend to be a lot of prey animals. A lot of other animals eat them, so he's designed, his name's Harvey. He's designed for looking out for predators. His eyes are on the sides of his head. Our eyes are in front, because we're hunters. The rabbit's eyes can see all the way from the front to the back. And notice any of those animals that we had up there that were herbivores, cows, deer, sheep, they all have eyes on the sides of their head like the rabbit. Big ears so they can hear what's going on. Whiskers so they can sense, get the sense of smells around. And their teeth. I'm not going to show you her teeth so she doesn't take a bite out of me, but they have long incisors, big flat teeth for chewing. You have to constantly keep going.
I don't have a rabbit skull, but I do have a porcupine skull. So Harvey, I don't want to scare you, but I've got some bones right here in front of your little bunny face. So I'm going to show the kids those great big incisors. If we could look inside of a rabbit's mouth. Here is the side view of the skull. And then here's the top view. One side is a little bit broken, but that arch is where muscles would attach, and the eyeballs would be right there in that circle of bone. And if I get a little closer, you can see how in the front there's these big curved incisor teeth for chomping off plants, and then very flat molar teeth in the back for crunching up those plants and getting the nutrition out of them. All animals that eat mostly plants or only plants have flat molar teeth like this with some kind of wrinkles in there that are called cusps that help us to grind up our food. What I think is kind of neat is a lot of herbivores, those long incisor teeth are not white. They're kind of a yellowish color like here on this porcupine skull. Mark and I were looking up a kind of rabbit called a jackrabbit that is native to Mexico, and I'll show you a picture of this rabbit right now. Maybe somebody could tell me what looks a little different about that jackrabbit. That's called I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong, but Tamaulipas jackrabbit. They're native to very southern Mexico. What's really different about that rabbit versus the rabbit that Mark has here in the studio? Long legs, yes. And what else is really long? Yeah, the ears, super long legs and super long ears, very true. So there's Harvey, and this rabbit has much shorter legs and shorter ears, but they still do the same job, allow them to listen for the predators that might be after them. So what we'll do, kids, is we'll take maybe one, if anybody has a question about herbivores or the rabbit in general, we'll take maybe if there's 2 questions, or if not, we'll on to our next category in food chain.